Hey guys, good morning. It's Sunday. Just doing a string of videos here while I got the equipment up. And I wanted to share for all of you pet owners that ever think about traveling with your pet to another country that we've done that. And we're here for 6 weeks, and we're a little over 4 weeks in. And there was a lot of things to do prior to leaving Florida for Italy with Teddy, our Maltipoo, to get him ready for traveling. Multiple visits to the vet, lots of paperwork, things of that nature, things with the airline, which I'll cover at a later date in another video. But I wanted to share an experience that we had the other day, and that is that we had to take Teddy to the vet, which we were worried about. Since we were going to be here 6 weeks, we thought, well, maybe something might happen and we may have to find a vet, which we were also thinking about for our own health. Oh, what if something happens to one of us and we have to go to the hospital or a doctor? How are we going to do that? Those are all things that you have to think of when you're thinking of spending any kind of prolonged period of time in a foreign country. So the latter hasn't happened, but the former has. We noticed that Teddy was spending a lot of time licking one of his paws, and he wouldn't really let us deal with it. So we let that continue for about 3 days, and then we thought we need to find a vet. So we did a quick Google search, and we found a vet nearby. And Gianna, who's Italian, is better than mine at this point, got on the phone and immediately asked, does anyone there speak English? Which on their site they advertise they do, but we happened to get the person that didn't, which no fault of their own, obviously. We're in their country. But they asked us to send an email, which is customary here. So we sent an email describing what was going on with Teddy, and they answered us back with 2 times that they had available to see him, and we opted for 5 o'clock. And so that was for the same day, actually. And so at 5 o'clock we put him in his carriage and we took a walk, and it was about a 10-minute walk to the office. And we were buzzed in, and the office was completely empty, and someone came out real quick and said that they'll be right with us. And so we waited there briefly, maybe 10 minutes at the most, and then the vet came and saw us. And we had brought all this paperwork and barcodes and QR codes and just all this stuff. With we're going to need our passports and just all this stuff with us. And not to bore you with the details of his visit, but really the doctor just saw him, prescribed some medication as he saw that perhaps it was an allergic reaction Teddy was having to being here in Italy. And then we did not get the medicine there. We actually had to go to Farmacia, which is a pharmacy here in Italy, and get his medicine there. So they did the vet. We did communicate through the translating app, actually, for some things, because we know enough to order food and things of that nature, clothing, stuff like that. But the finer points of veterinary medicine, we don't have that language skill yet. So we used a translator, and he did his checks and determined that, of course, like I said, it was an allergic reaction potentially. And so then he let us out. We paid him, and we went immediately to the pharmacy. They didn't have the medicine on hand, and we had to pick it up the next day. But all in all, pretty painless experience. Like I said, there were no documentation required of us. We didn't have to give any kind of history or anything. The vet just saw us, fixed the issue, and sent us on our way. So aside from the initial paperwork to get Teddy over here with us, and I think a minor form that we had to fill out prior to leaving back to the States, being here with your dog or your cat, whichever, I think is going to be relatively painless for most of you. So I just wanted to let you know, give you maybe a little bit of confidence about traveling with your pet, share our experience with you, and that everything went okay. So that's all I have. Please like, subscribe, and share. They're being a life.